Alright, hello everybody. This is The.Spectre. Joining me is Daredevil Dan. This is the lower bracket semi-final. The winner between Noxious Gaming and A-Town represent Baby Yeah. The winner will go on to verse Balls in the final, where the loser will play for third and fourth place up against the Potato Stack. So, both teams I haven't cast yet, so could you provide some insight there, Dan?
Well, I've casted Noxious Gaming before, and they did okay in the NLG Series Open, but they were pretty standard plays, nothing sort of amazing coming out, but they're a pretty solid team, and they practice a lot from what I know, and they play a lot together, so there should be some improvement there as well. So I'm expecting them to play pretty well.
Yeah, so far the bans are pretty standard. Interesting to see the Treant banned out this early. I think after the nerf that he received to Living Armor, he's not really the big kind of annoyance that he was before. I think you really have to have some kind of pocket strategy to place him in a lineup nowadays.
Yeah,
so.
something like Tree Weaver is basically the go-to. If you want to be really aggressive, you get a Tree Weaver, put the Weaver in the offlane, and he can win an offlane with that Tree Armor. If your Tree gets sort of an early level 3. He does really well in that lane, and we see the SD picked up first, which is pretty standard nowadays. You see him generally in the first 3 of every game, or he's just ignored for the whole game.
Yeah, I've got to say, in the last 2 best of 3s I cast, he's made it into the final ban phase before getting either picked or banned, so it was pretty rare, and worth commenting on as well that neither team wanted to pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I love to play is you pick a Shadow Demon first, and then you try and bait the enemy team into picking an anti-mage, and then if they don't pick it, you just take an anti-mage. But a lot of Aussie teams, you don't really see them play it. You don't see them go for big late game carries like anti-mage. They pick up Gyros, as we see now, and maybe a Phantom Lancer, but not much anymore. But you never see things like anti-mage.
Yeah, it's like Gyrocopter, Alchemist, Weaver, the kind of mid-game carries that start to go through, and if they snowball, can just end a game really quickly. And Shadow Demon also is really great for forcing out bans as well. Usually the opposing team will throw out a ban on something like a Leshrac or Lena, or try and pick them to kind of stop you picking them. So it's kind of good if you don't plan on going on one of those heroes to make the other team basically waste bans on them because they think you're going for a combo.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he works without those heroes, but he couples up so well with them.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, they're still going to find something to combo with them, whether it's just any kind of follow-up stun. It's just a lot better with those Leshrac and Lena ones.
Yeah, you can pick something like a Jakiro as well. Jakiro works quite well with them.
Yeah,
and Jakiro is just such a good hero all round.
He certainly is. He's been seeing a lot of play recently in the uni games. I think I've seen him in every single match so far. Just the Ice Path is a great area denial tool, especially against the highly mobile carries that we've been seeing coming out, like the Shadowblade Alchemist and the Weaver, of course, using Sakuchi. Just laying an Ice Path over a lane either stops them coming in to follow up damage from something like a Shadow Demon, kind of start off a fight, or it stops them from going back after they've tried to harass.
Yeah, exactly, and we see the Keeper of the Light picked up now, and if A-Town don't ban Phantom Lancer, I'm guessing Noxious are going to pick it up, because he works well with a Shadow Demon to get the extra illusions out, and you can have a Shadow Demon illusion army. He works really well with the Keeper of the Light, or we could see a Luna as well. Luna kind of works the same as a Phantom Lancer with Keeper. You can just spam out the beams and just harass them offline.
Yeah, exactly. Keeper of the Light was picked up by Shaitan the previous 2 games that were on today. And it was played very, very well. Recall was used for split pushing a lot. And of course Chakra Magic just being so useful for basically every single hero. But definitely a lot better on Phantom Lancer and Luna, where you can spam out the high damage, kind of low cost nukes.
Yeah, it's really a pain in the ass to lane against, because you can't do anything. I mean, once that carry gets level 3, and the nuke's level 2, Keeper of the Light's generally level 2 or 3 from the pools, there's nothing you can do on the lane anymore, especially if it's a try versus 1. You just harass them off.
The only hope that you have is to get farm up enough to get some tranquil boots and just sit there and regen just enough not to have to go back to base every kind of 2 or 3 waves.
Yeah, but the problem is with against the Luna or PL is that their nukes are such a low cooldown.
Yeah, they'll just
Your
chase you
tranquil
down
boots
and
stay
break
on.
it.
Yeah, and your tranquil boots just stay on cooldown for another 50 seconds.
Yeah, after the nerf to the cooldown, as well as the time it takes for that heal to hit a hero, basically, it's just tranquil boots are so much worse, except on like a select few heroes.
Yeah, they're good if you're a carry and you want to farm and you're getting a little bit of harass, and if you're jungling on like an axe in a pub.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
I think the only hero where I found it useful early game is one of my favorites is to get it on Lion, just for the extra like kind of initiation power it gives you with the extra move speed. As well as Centaur, just for healing yourself up after some double edges before you get the big kind of health regen item, and then you can break it down.
Yeah, it's pretty handy for. Yeah, you can break it apart and get a Vlad's for the team.
Yeah. We see the Weaver and the Clockwork getting banned out, so not wanting to face up against the Weaver with Visage and Gyro, I'm guessing that A-Town might be going for slightly less of a lockdown lineup, but more just kind of a slow and damage. Like with Visage and Gyrocopter, all you really have are the familiar stuns and the Gyro Rocket, which aren't really the best at all. And Nick's sneaking through to this stages of the bans. Just, I guess, Keeper of the Light and Shadow Demon seen as bigger assets in these kind of games that are being played lately.
Yeah, and Nick's Assassin works really well with the Visage Gyro offensive tri-lane, so they've banned that out to not let that happen as well. But we could be seeing both teams go offensive tri-lanes. Noxious, I'm going to say, would go defensive with the Keeper of the Light, just because you can zone them out easily. And banning the Weaver kind of suggests that they think they're going to go defensive so they can chuck the Weaver on the offlane as well.
Yeah, definitely. We need probably one stunning support for the Radiant side, just to couple up with the Visage slow so the Gyrocopter can get in range and let off that Rocket Barrage. So, and we do see the Phantom Lancer banned out, so they're not wanting to go up against the Cancer Lancer. You can't really blame them.
They would have. That would have been really painful if they let that through. Surely, if you've got a Shadow Demon and a Coddle, and you can pick a PL, you might as well.
Yeah, exactly. But still, as you were saying before, that Luna pick's still wide open.
Yeah, a lot of people I generally don't see pick it with the Keeper, but he does work really well with the Luna, so they can go any carry really at the moment. Visage and Gyro, they just need a stunner, as you said before. A Vengeful Spirit would fit into the lineup fine. Because of Visage's range on the slow, you can get the slow off and then get the stun off quite easily. And the swap's always helpful as well.
Yeah, exactly. Visage is seeing a bit more play recently, just because of her strength gain buff. Makes her a lot tankier during the mid stages of the game where you're going to be swapping into the enemy team. But we are going to see the Rubik being picked up, so that'll most likely be the tri-lane support for them as well, just with the nice long-range lift back into Rocket Barrage and the slow as well.
Yeah, you don't generally need a damaging stun with the Visage with a Gyro in the lane, because the Rocket Barrage pumps out enough damage to have the Soul Assumption do that massive nuke. If you have a carry that doesn't have something big like a Rocket Barrage, you need a damaging stun, just so you can get the Soul Assumption, because you can't stack it up that quickly without some sort of nuke in the early game anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And Noxious do pick up a Dragon Knight as well, so they're looking pretty good for their push at the moment. Going to get up an early level 6 on most likely mid lane Dragon Knight. And with the Keeper of the Light waves, they're going to be able to take down those creeps behind the towers and push it down with the poison. And also good counter push as well.
Yeah, it's really easy to push with a Dragon Knight. They don't really have a pushing lineup as such yet. Keeper of the Light's not great for pushing. He's great for defense. Shadow Demon's pretty awful at pushing, but he's good for defense as well.
Just Shadow Poison, basically. It's just like 3 waves, and that's not going to help you do a fast push.
He's really good at getting the tier 3s because you can make copies of your carry just to go in and hit and then come out. They pick up the Leshrac as well, so it does look like they're going to be going for an early game push strat. Once DK's level 6, once Leshrac's got a bit of Diabolic, and he couples up well with the Shadow Demon.
And the Chakra Magic just going out on the Leshrac and Dragon Knight is going to be horrible to face up against, when they're all trying to 5-man.
Are they going to try lane the Lesh Keeper and Shadow Demon though? because they could farm the Leshrac, but kind of seems like a waste because they don't have anything to go in the off lane yet, and I mean they could be tri-laning the Dragon Knight.
Possibly. Earlier on in the day, we actually saw a farming off-lane Leshrac, who did end up being solo after being part of a tri-lane early on. But it's not something that's really... You wouldn't run a Leshrac up against the offensive tri-lane that the Radiant have at the moment, so...
No, he'd just die.
Yeah. So I don't... Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to what they're going to do with their lanes. Am I going to see the Shadow Fiend as the final pickup for A-Town? So, a very, very strong mid laner. It'll be that the Windrunner on the off lane. But the Lone Druid is going to be picked up by Noxious as well. So, very, very strong push coming out from their team at the moment.
Yeah, I'd actually like to see them mid the Gyro and send the Shadow Fiend into the tri-lane.
Yeah.
I don't know why. There's not really any reason. I just like seeing Shadow Fiend in tri-lanes.
I also love seeing Gyrocopter mid.
Yeah, I think you'll have the space to do it in this game, because if they're tri-laning the Lesh Keeper and Shadow Demon, he's going to be okay behind his Visage and Rubik.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say A-Town is going to go offensive tri-lane if they have the experience in running one, because they can run it against the safe lane Lone Druid. And we'll probably have either team can do offensive tri-lanes in this, to be fair. Noxious, I would like to see it from them, just because a Lone Druid farming a safe lane is so much better than it farming the off lane, because he doesn't get much. And you have a big Lone Druid, it's 10 minutes, and then you've got a Leshrac who's level 6, 7, a few levels into Diabolic, you can just start melting towers like no one's business.
Exactly. It's going to be very hard for A-Town to go up against the lineup of Noxious if they manage to get some early farm and get a bit of lane advantage. But while we have that pause, we'll introduce the teams. Over on the side of A-Town, we have Admiral Sussdawg on the Windrunner, Req on the Rubik, Smiley Face on the Shadow Fiend, Assalj on the Visage, and FIM3 Caster on the Gyrocopter.
And over on Noxious, we have Y2U My Clarity playing the Lone Druid. Shadow Demon is being played by Moops. DK is being played by Adam Jensen. Coddle is being played by Buzza. And Confetti is playing the Leshrac.
It'll be... as you're saying, the laning is very, very open at the moment. So we'll just have to wait to see which items they pick up. And where they head. They have two very strong... Well, they've got the one strong solo and the Windrunner on the Radiant side who could go either solo lane, to be fair. And the Lone Druid also in the same boat.
Yeah, they've got a lot they can do, really. It's going to be up to if they've got experience in doing aggressive tri-lanes, and if they feel like they need to run them, as if they will do it or not.
Like, the Shadow Demon and the Leshrac are definitely going to be going together. But does that mean they're going to run the Keeper in off lane just for early levels, or... And just
if they put a Keeper in an off lane, he's just going to die.
I know that Demon runs it occasionally, so maybe it's something
I haven't seen that for a very long time.
No, not for quite a number of weeks, but...
Because the metagame's changed to so much more aggression now, you don't just protect your carry in a tri-lane, you aim to get kills. Yeah. And if you put a Coddle solo, he's going to die. And at the moment, they're only sitting 2 down bot with the Leshrac sitting at base, and he's gone classic Hon build of boots tangos.
Oh, that Hon build.
Classy Hon build. And they are going to be try versus try, which works out really well for the Visage. He'll love it. And I do give ATB the advantage in this try versus try.
Yeah.
And at the moment, they could catch these 2 supports out. They're out there on their own. They don't have their 3rd hero with them. If they were further up, they would have got either 1 or 2 free kills just from that.
And we are going to be seeing the Leshrac as the farmer on that tri-lane as well. So probably the boots being picked up just so he can stay out of range.
I think they just want to get some kills and stop the Gyros early game, and then wait for that Lone Druid for about 10 minutes, get him some farm, get the DK to level 6, and just go all out aggression after that.
Just go roaming with the SD Leshrac combo. And have Keeper just running around as a mobile fountain.
Yeah, and you see them just sort of waiting behind these trees, waiting for them to go in the lane. They've got that ward down there, so they'll see any rotations, and the block is done, so they're looking for a first blood, but against this tri-lane, I don't think they can kill anyone.
Yeah, I think if they
Not
go
straight
in,
away.
there's going to need to be an extremely good defensive disruption, or one of the heroes is going to have to be very out of position with no follow-up from the other two.
Yeah, it's the power of a Visage on a tri-lane. You almost think you're winning, you're on half health, and then you're dead.
As well as the rocket barrage, just completely deadly at level 1. It can take off 3/4 of your health just with one cast, and it has such a low cooldown as well.
And we see a gank in mid as well. Windrunner and SF both going on the DK, and he's going to fall here. So, nice first blood. Windrunner didn't bother go to the off lane. She's going to pot up now and just shoot over, and easy first blood.
Meanwhile, on bottom lane, the Keeper of the Light picks up the gyrocopter as well.
I'm actually really surprised by that. I didn't think they'd be able to get anything this early, because all the spells are only level 1. They don't have a huge amount of damage coming out.
Yeah, it's definitely quite odd.
But this Shadow Fiend's having a great time in mid. He's already got the 4 CS, so he's got that 10 extra damage now from 5 souls, and that's all he needs to start gaining an advantage, especially over a DK. This DK's almost dead already. He doesn't have his bottle. He's going to have a really hard time, and SF's just going to use his pop now, and he should be able to dominate this lane from here with that early first blood.
Yeah, the first blood also working very well. Did it go to the Shadow Fiend? No, it went to the Windrunner, it looks like. Just the Rubik is going to get gone on at bottom. Goes down to the Illuminate and the combination again coming out. So that's already 2 kills for this aggressive tri-lane down at bottom.
Yeah, I definitely think I underestimated the magical damage that they can pump out from this lane.
Yeah, the Illuminate early levels is 200 damage nuke when it's fully cast, and you can easily get that off with a disruption. With the Split Earth coming out as well, that's another 120 damage, so it's quite a bit. You also have the illusions right-clicking through and the Soul Catcher amplification, so even at level 2 it's quite deadly. I think the level 1 one was a bit surprising, but level 2 it's quite a bit more understandable. And we're going to see a blind stun come out from Leshrac, a very nice shot there. Double damage rune also on Keeper of the Light, going to do a lot of harass damage to that gyrocopter.
That's a scary coddle right click right there. It's crazy, getting DD at the start of the game is almost a guaranteed first blood sometimes. Because it's, I mean, he's got 51 damage, now he's got 102.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just ridiculous early game.
Especially with the health pools that you see early on, you know, you're getting at 400, 500, maybe 600 or 700 if you're like a Spirit Breaker, but honestly, it's just, you know, a couple of right clicks and you're at half health already, followed up with 1 stun and it's a kill. And we already see the mana boots
picking up mana boots. He's got 1 kill, 1 assist, he's got 10 lasted, so yeah. And now this lane gets scarier.
And that's the power of those boots first.
Yeah. Can't say bad things about the Hon build.
It's worked out this game very well. And they're all just trying to basically disrupt the farm of this tri-lane as much as they can. They're not really prioritizing that much. The Leshrac is picking up most of it, but with these denies, they're all just going free for all, just smack them down.
Yeah, and we notice as well that they haven't tried to sentry ward the pull. I don't think they've even tried to pull. The Visage is only going over to it now and saying, guys, there's no creeps there. So, yeah, Rubik's going over now, and that's really late noticing that.
Yeah, we do see 1 sentry ward placed down, but well out of range of the Dire ward that's placed down, so...
And that second sentry is nowhere near where it needs to be, so that's 2 sentries gone. A Zeva ward that's not really in a very good position, just because it can't really see that many movements. Yeah. And yeah, they've basically just lost 500 gold. Could use a little help. And we see SF diving behind. He's got a haste rune, and he should be able to kill this DK. He's going to take a lot of damage from this tower. Stun from DK might die to this tower. He is going to die to this, and that's just a silly mistake. He should have realised that. I mean, DK has a 2.5 second stun, and you're diving a tower.
And you're only a Shadow Fiend 4.5 minutes into a game. You don't have life, so you
really
don't have that satanic.
He had a really good start with the first blood and the kill, and it's almost all gone now.
Exactly. He is still quite a way ahead in CS, so definitely still winning the lane in my opinion, but giving away a lot more experience than the than the DK kind of gave away as that first blood. So I actually see the DK out-leveling the SF at this point, about a half a level ahead. Especially with the low respawn time from the first blood. He was basically back in lane a second or two afterwards.
Yeah, plus Windrunner took half of that experience as well, so he didn't get the full amount. And we see this Windrunner actually doing pretty well against the Lone Druid top, because the Lone Druid just isn't getting any attacks.
The disruption and soul patch is thrown on bottom. The stun comes out on the Rubik, the right click is enough to follow it off, but the Illuminate comes through and kills him off. Soul Assumption gets thrown out on the Shrek, drops to about a third health, but he's going to be able to survive. So yes, the Windrunner.
Yeah, the Windrunner's doing pretty well. The CS is lower, but this Lone Druid's not getting as much as he should be. He's only got about 24, it's 25 CS now, but he should have a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think the problem is that with Lone Druid hitting level 5 now, the Entangle able to be procced off on the Windrunner, it's going to get a lot harder for her to run around in lane and continue the job that she's been doing so far.
Yeah, Lone Druid hit her about 6 times just before and got no entangles. It was really painful to watch.
Pseudo-random number generator, what are you doing? The DK is going to bottle up a double damage room. With rotation from that Keeper of the Light, they may be able to pick him up, but no, the ward spots him out, so they know the DK is coming in, and wisely SF is just going to go out the top of the lane, go into a bit of a safer spot. Windrunner getting entangled under the tower. Lone Druid's going to go the follow-up, but the Shackle Shot thrown out, latches on the bear and Lone Druid. He's going to dive the tower a bit. No, Windrunner gets popped off and he's going to disengage.
Yeah, a nice little attempt. Forces Windrunner back for a little while. She does have a Tranquil Boots. She did. She gets that Lone Druid last hit, but the Entangle kills her afterwards.
Oh.
That's rough. But she got the 300 gold for the bear kill, and she won't be too upset by it, but because there is no bear now for another 50 seconds.
Oh, Gyrocopter almost dropping down, only 50 health right now after the Illuminate came through. And Rubik might be in a bad spot. Keeper of the Light's actually diving this, might be throwing out an Illuminate into the bushes. The Edict's coming out, a nice split earth from Leshrac as well. The Soul Catcher gets thrown out on Rubik, he's going to be going down. Keeper of the Light gets tossed back, and the TP from Windrunner has come in. Shackle Shot's going off, Rocket Barrage as well as the Soul Assumption. The Leshrac goes down to 60 health, but he's going to be able to run back. So, just unlucky. A nice rotation in from Windrunner, but unable to turn it into a kill. Just the Gyrocopter just about a half step behind where he needed to be. So just missing out on that Leshrac kill.
And we see the Rubik rotating top because the bear is down. The bear is going to be up again now, and that's a level 2 Rubik. If he gets a little bit out of position, he's going to be dead.
Well, the thing is, the bear has boots and an orb of venom as well, so I don't see what's really stopping Lone Druid from kind of sitting on the very edge of the range and just hitting the Rubik under tower just for a little bit of harass.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be a little bit careful with that bear at the moment, just because it is on cooldown for a resummon, and he does need it with him.
We're going to see the two supports at bottom getting quite aggressive here. Leshrac's going to throw out a stun. Hits on the Visage. Unfortunately, the Illuminate doesn't come through, but the Edict just doing so much damage to the single target of the Visage. And it's going to be a killing spree for Confetti, playing very well on this Leshrac. Looks like he's building towards a Bloodstone.
Bloodstone. Gotta love Bloodstone on farming Leshrac. At some point, he will just click Diabolic, click Pulse Nova, and just walk at you.
Yep.
That's it. He doesn't need to do anything else, he just walks at you menacingly.
Get up
and then
some drums, BKB, Ghost Scepter, and what are you going to do?
I mean, it's all fair and nice in pub games. I'm not sure how it's going to work out in this, but he's doing really well. He's got a really good start on this offensive try lane.
And they're going to take that tier 1 tower as well. The Edict is doing so much damage. Admiral...
And this Lone Druid needs to be a bit better at this sort of microing his bear. He keeps going in a straight line, so every time he's going to go on that Windrunner, he just gets shackled and forced off.
Yeah, exactly.
So he needs to sort of zigzag himself around, but I mean, it's all well and good saying that he needs to be better at it, but it is quite hard to do.
It certainly is, especially when you suddenly get off the Entangle and you do a control click just to attack them continuously after they go back into the range, and it just ends up forcing you into a line by itself. Moops, sitting in the trees here at the moment, might be looking to go on the Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend is backing off.
Shadow Fiend knows something up. There's only a Leshrac visible on the map. Connell is stacking the enemy's jungle.
The bear gets hit under the tower, but it's going to be a kill for Lone Druid. Of course, Windrunner getting that 300 gold yet again. And I think if one of the heroes TP'd at top, they might be able to kill off Lone Druid. But he does use his Tranquils, and he's going to heal up quite a bit now.
I'm surprised no one TP'd to that. If there was a TP reaction there, that would have been the kill on the Lone Druid.
But again, it's going to be a trade of the bear for a kill on the Windrunner. But it's also going to be a T1 tower for the Lone Druid, who isn't being contested for a last hit from the creep, so all the gold's going to go to him.
Yeah, and Lone Druid's coming off better on those trades because he's getting experience. He's not losing gold and gaining gold. Windrunner's gaining only 50 gold from it.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Leshrac just getting stronger and stronger, has the point booster up as well, so he's only about 1,800 away from having the full Bloodstone. And Illuminate's going to come through, an excellent Split Earth, hits on 2. The Soul Catcher coming out, but the damage from the Visage as well as the power shot is going to take down 1. It's going to be a double kill for Admiral Sussdawg. It's an excellent play on Windrunner there, but the Illuminate clips the Gyrocopter as Buzz is retreating, and it's going to be able to pick up a double kill for him as well. So a 2-for-2 trade. The farming Leshrac does finally go down. So
yeah, I mean, that's not really a big thing for him. He's got his point booster. He's got his Void Stone that he can buy now, and he just needs a Vitality booster for his Bloodstone.
Dragonite's going to kill off the Visage at bottom as well. Just goes into Dragon form, uses the Dragon Tail and Breathe Fire, and just takes him down with a couple of right clicks. So it's a nice rotation from him, just spotting out that the Visage is very weak, only level 4 at the moment, and just exploits it. Lone Druid is without his bear for another 10 seconds.
He really is losing that bear a lot, but he's got a tower off it and he's got to kill every time it's died, so it's not too bad. But he's getting work done. And the Leshrac dives really deep in to try and kill that Visage and doesn't get anything for it.
Yeah, DK had almost taken out the Shadow Fiend at mid just before, but did get the backup from the Visage just at the right time. And Leshrac just eating a lot of tower hits, so he's just going to rely on his Ring of Health to get him back up.
Yeah, we see Noxious Gaming now on the map, blind. Rubik was just de-warding, but the ward actually ran out just before he killed it anyway. And that's another tower down.
It's all the T1s for the Dire side at the moment. The Edict doing so much damage as well as the Bear taking on the top. And in fact, he's got a Hand of Midas up on the Bear currently. Is switching it between the hero and his Bear. So, of course, if you use the Midas while it's on the Bear, you don't get the experience, you only get the gold. So, always best to switch it back to your hero and then back to the Bear for the extra in attack speed and entangle procs.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice way to go.
And this Gyrocopter is just being completely shut down by the aggressive tri-lane. He's got 15 last hits at 13 minutes in.
He's having the worst time for a Gyro. And there's 4 heroes for the Radiant side down here, and they're scared to go forward against 3 basically support heroes.
It's just that they're all so weak in terms of hit points. They're all just kind of sitting around at 700, 600 health. So one good Illuminate, just one kind of disrupt into Illuminate, it's going to kill off at least and allow the follow-up to happen in what's now a 3 versus 3. So it's just a bit of a shame the way that the game's turned out for the Radiant, where just the tri-lane of the die has just been so strong here on bottom lane.
Yeah, nice little D-ward there from Rubik as well. We do see a wraparound coming from DK though.
He's got a Haste Rune and a Shadow Blade. He's going to get lifted up by Rubik in tower range, as well as the Grave Chill being let off by Visage. Admiral Sussdawg is going to get stunned behind the tower, and a cooldown is going to get thrown out just to kind of take the creeps off the tower. But at the moment,
they can't stop them.
Exactly.
They're going to take this tower eventually. They're slowing it down, and all this time, Lone Druid's top on his own, farming. They do get mid tower, which is kind of a consolation prize, and the Shadow Fiend's actually going for a Shadow Blade, which I really don't like for this game. He needs a BKB just so he can fight.
Exactly. And basically what they've done is trade a T1 tower mid for 2 T2s, and it's not a trade that you want to be making.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's the best thing they can do at the moment.
Yeah, it's just like, what can we do well, this is it. We can't beat them in a 5-on-5 engagement at this point, so they're just trying to take what they can get, but it's not going to work out for them in the long term, and Buzza even picking up a gem now before he finishes off the mech, or is that coming out as well? No, it's going to be a mech as well. Just from all this tower gold. Coddle. Yeah. Damn, this Coddle is farmed, and he's going to keep on going. With that gem, they're going to be able to just take out all of the wards on the Radiant side and just choke them out.
Yeah, and we see the Bloodstone done as well, and he's going straight for a BKB after this by the look of it. He doesn't need to upgrade his boots. He doesn't need to chase anyone. He just needs to survive and have mana and health all the time, so he can take down the towers, and with this he can.
Rubik's still not having his level 6, so not able to steal off one of the nice stuns on the Dire side just to follow up from his lift. I personally love stealing Split Earth when playing as a Rubik, because you can just follow up your own stun.
Yeah, well, you don't need to pick a Leshrac as well. You've already got a free one.
Exactly. Shadow Fiend's going to be stacking up this camp, hopefully going to farm it down with the Shadow Razors. But
yeah, he does. He almost I was going to say, he's about to block it himself.
Getting it in time.
The Skyro is getting a little bit of space down bot. He's got his treads now. He's level 7 and 16, level 8 in 16 minutes, which is pretty awful, even for a tri lane. So he's definitely having a hard time, but he can still come back into this game. In no way is this game over. It's just going to be very, very hard for the Radiant to win.
Yeah, I think what they'll need to rely on is a few overextensions from the Dire side when they're trying to break that uphill. They do still have their T2 in mid lane, but in fact it looks like Dire's going to be going into the Roshan pit now, which is going up against an Aegis at 17 minutes when they're trying to break your uphill is not the greatest, especially when they have Keeper of the Light and you don't have things like Pipe and Mechanism up on your team yet.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what this DK is going to go next. Generally, you'll see a BKB. He might go straight to an Assault, because ATB don't really have that much lockdown to sort of hold him around. They have a slow, shackle and a Rubik lift, but that's it.
Yeah, Visage.
So he doesn't really need one.
Yeah, Visage not even level 6, so the familiar stuns are going to be a non-factor as well. And at the moment,
yeah, you don't generally have to worry about those too much.
Yeah, the Radiant also
very
just
good.
smoking up near top lane, but with the Roshan going down, they're just going to retreat.
Yeah, now we just see Noxious just piling down mid lane, and they're just going to go for it. I'll take this last tier 2.
Yeah, the XP 7.5k in wave, the Dire, and the gold 14k.
Jeez.
It's a lot of towers, it's a lot of of farm on the heroes as well.
And this bear has a Midas, and is about 1100 away from getting a Radiance as well in 18 minutes. That is going to be so rough.
And the Radiance is on the bear right now.
Oh wow, I didn't even realise he had that. Jeez, that's actually one of the fastest I've ever seen with the Midas. Without a Midas, it's good. But with that Midas, that's a really, really quick Radiance.
Yeah, with the Roshan and all the towers going down, all of these heroes on the Dire side are just rich as kings. And even just using the Midas on the bear because he doesn't want to switch it off. The cooldown's going to come through, the bear's going to take quite a bit of damage. In fact, even shackling to the Leshrac, the bear's going to go down here. The Leshrac might be in a bit of trouble, but he's going to escape. DK comes forward with the Dragon Tail. But the 4-star from the Windrunner is going to let him escape. No, the Illuminate actually picks off a Rubik as well in the back lane, just not having any kind of HP to speak of, and getting taken down by a level 3 Illuminate.
Yeah, they don't need to back. They've used the resummon, so they can't let the spear die again, but they should be able to take this Rax.
I think they certainly can. A nice little shackle shot coming out from Windrunner, but it's not really going to stop them. The blinding light gets
with a
thrown
DK
out.
and a lone druid, this farmed, it's so easy to take Rax.
SF is going to throw out the ultimate, does minimal damage to the DK.
Somebody's on a roll.
And this bear is killing heroes with just Radiance.
He's just running around and killing them off. And the good game's going to be called.
Radiant's mid-rags is taking a licking.
So that's going to be the first game going to Noxious Gaming in 19.5 minutes. They do have a 7.5k XP lead and a 17k gold lead, so not too surprising there, but an excellently played game by Noxious. just completely dominating every lane and pushing through.
Yeah, nice game from Noxious, and we'll be going to game